Alright, lads and ladies, we're here doing an actual video this time. I know it's crazy, but this is what I've been kicking around for a little bit. I have currently played Bloodborne a total of 16 times. I'm on my 17th run using the Tonitrus. Never used it before. I would say I'm about a third of the way through the game at this point, but I'm only halfway through all of my planned runs, including some challenge ones. So at the very end, when I've finally finished all of my Bloodborne runs, I'm going to come back to this and rank the runs I did individually as to how hard they were, how much I enjoyed them, etc. But for now, what we're going to do is I'm going to rank 10 of the weapons that I had the most fun with, or just my 10 favorite weapons in the game that I've used so far. Now, I have experience with every single one of the weapons. I've used them all a little bit each, including the different variants, like with the Beast Claw. I've used both variants of it. But I've only done full runs with 16 of them so far, so I have set aside 10 here. Again, I think one, of course, that could very easily jump way up, I think is, for one, I think the Boom Hammer could, I think the Stake Driver might, and I think the Beast Claw rune variant could jump up here, but we'll see later. For now, this is going to be my 10 favorite weapons in all. Let me get closer to the mic. My 10 favorite weapons in all of Bloodborne. Let's go ahead and get to number 10. So, number 10, we're going to start with the best weapon in Bloodborne, the Ludwig Holy Blade. The absolute power that you hold with this thing cannot be understated. You are so unfathomably strong with the Ludwig Holy Blade. Like, if you have strength and skill leveled up, let's say you put a dab in arcanes, that way, you know, some fire paper or something can really be effective. You will do so much on the Ludwig Holy Blade. It is unbelievable. The damage you get off of this weapon is foul. I cannot even express how hard you hit wielding the Ludwig Holy Blade. Oh my goodness, it is insane. But at the very end of the day, I did only find it to be just a big sword. I had fun with it, of course. It's fun being that strong with a weapon. This was only my this is my second or third playthrough of Bloodborne that I did this with, so I wasn't that good at the time, but I was still able to just cruise through it because the Ludwig Holy Blade just carries that hard. It is so hilariously broken. Next up, number 9 is the Blades of Mercy. You ever wanted to just be able to R1 spam for literally eternity to kill your opponents? Well, you can do that with this. The Blades of Mercy is literally just stun lock, stun lock, stun lock, stun lock, stun lock, stun lock, have 40 in stamina with good runes, stun lock, stun lock, stun lock. The Blades of Mercy is just such a cheap weapon against all hunter enemies. For example, Mikolash. If you trap Mikolash in a corner, you can just wail on him with the Blades of Mercy. It is unfair. I really love the speed you get with that, and I love the mobility you get when it's tricked. You get the R2s, which push you forward a little bit, and the L2, which slides you back while attacking. I really like the Blades of Mercy for their utility like that, but I did find them a little on the uninteresting side after a while. But yeah, I did really enjoy my time with the Blades of Mercy. This was one of the ones that I actually ran the chalices with, so I definitely had plenty of use with this. There are, 5 weapons on this list that I've run the chalices with. And the next one is the first weapon I ever did, the Saw Cleaver. This is the old reliable to many a hunter. The Saw Cleaver was, while it wasn't my initial choice, I always picked the Hunter Axe first, or I did on my first playthrough. I did eventually buy the Saw Cleaver and was astounded at how good it was. I do think the Hunter Axe is better, but for my first playthrough, the Saw Cleaver absolutely tore through the whole game. I was ripping bosses apart, I was ripping the chalices apart. It was so unbelievably strong, just for how early you get that weapon, for so much that you get out of it. The speed of which you do the damage, the trick variant, which gives you a little bit more range, but overall I would say it's better untricked. You just get the same damage but faster. For sure, I really think the Saw Cleaver is one of the best weapons in the game. I would say that like the top 3, the 2 of them, 2 and 3 can kind of float around, but I think the Saw Cleaver and the Hunter Axe have to be super high up there just because of how early you get them. They're free. They're literally free weapons. Go pick them up from the start of the game, use them for a whole run, do whatever. It is ridiculous. These weapons are so good. But yeah, I did really like the Saw Cleaver. You know, it's fast, it's versatile, it does a lot of damage very fast. You know, just some serious DPS with this thing. But yeah, Saw Cleaver, great weapon. First weapon I ever used, but well, the first weapon for my first run. But the first weapon I ever picked up in this game is coming in at the number 7 spot. The Hunter Axe is my favorite, and I think it's better than that because while yeah, you get similar damage while it's untricked, but slower than the Saw Cleaver. When it is tricked, it is just so disgusting. Spin to win just rips the game. Like, it doesn't matter what new game cycle you're in, it doesn't matter what boss you're fighting, you spin to win with a tricked Hunter Axe, people get mowed. It is ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they took the Hunter Axe and said, you know what, we'll give this as the first weapon of the game. It is ridiculous. People just get mowed by that weapon. I cannot believe they said, yeah, this is the first starter pack weapon. This is such a disgustingly good weapon. I cannot believe it. And if you want to rock it untricked for a bit to get some parries, it is viable like that too. It hits hard. It's not super slow like a Kirk hammer or something. Like, it is really, really good. I do think it's a little bit better than the Saw Cleaver just because it's more versatile, but my god, the Hunter Axe and the Saw Cleaver are both so good, with the Hunter Axe being my favorite of the two. Number 6 is going to be what I literally feel is just a more fun Hunter Axe. That is the Church Pick. The Church Pick to me feels like the way Father Gascoigne uses the Hunter Axe is how we use the Church Pick. I think the Church Pick was absolutely phenomenal. It literally just plays like a better Hunter Axe, I think. I think it's better than the Hunter Axe. It doesn't have the disgusting spin to win, but it has other things that make it really, really good. For example, as a double heavy, only I believe like maybe 6 or 7 weapons in the entire game have a double heavy on the trick variant. This has that, and it's pretty strong. It's got a really solid moveset all around. It's relatively fast too. Like, this is not a slow weapon at all. You can move relatively quick with the Church Pick, and when it's untricked, it's still really solid. It does both righteous and serrated damage in both forms, I believe. So it is disgustingly good. I really find myself liking the Church Pick. Not a lot to say on this because it is just kind of like a better Hunter Axe. Number 5, we have the Rakuyo. The Rakuyo to me literally feels like I switched to Dante's Swordmaster style. Basically, in its normal variant, it's already cool, right? You have a sword and knife stuck together. You fight really cool with it. Really solid weapon already. And you trick the weapon, and literally you go into Swordmaster mode. Like, you have thrust, double thrust. You have 2 spin to wins, which are disgustingly good if you have high skill. And then you have your typical R1, L2 combo. Like, the Rakuyo just has so much to it. Like, there's just so many variations of attack with the Rakuyo. I found myself just loving it. Plus, you can fire and bolt paper this, unlike the Blades of Mercy. I really, really like the Rakuyo. This weapon was so much fun. This was another one I ran the chalices with, and I really enjoyed using it the entirety of this weapon. I forgot to mention it. I did do the chalices as well with the Hunter Axe and the Church Pick, so I have a lot of experience with those weapons, but the Rakuyo I loved. The Rakuyo was so much fun to use. Even though it's just like a sword and a dagger, it's just so good. I can't get over it. The Rakuyo is by far my 5th favorite because I want to express numbers 5 through 2 are all interchangeable. Literally any day of the week I can tell you I like these more. Number 1 I think is set in stone, but 5 through 2 are literally interchangeable. Number 4 is going to be the Chikage. The Chikage took me forever to finally use, but when I did, oh my god, I was astounded at the damage of the Chikage. For example, I fought Ebrietis, and I had only 25 blood tins with okay gems, and I was mowing Ebrietis. I think I killed Ebrietis in like 50 seconds. It was ridiculous. I don't know if she has a very high rapid poison resistance, but does not matter. The Chikage was working Ebrietis, and it destroyed Ludwig as well. Like, the main thing with the Chikage is its tricked form. While it does drain more HP, you would think that discourages you. It doesn't, because its tricked attacks are more accessible than other tricked attacks, because when you trick it, you put it in the sheath, draw it out with blood, and you lose HP. But while the weapon is sheathed, you can attack from a draw stance. So you can go ahead and use a tricked R1 draw attack, which does ridiculous. This does too much damage. I'm sorry. This does like 700 damage if you have good blood tinge and decent gems. This is absolutely disgusting. And if that happens to staggered enemy, they're dead. Straight up. Because then you can just go over and whack them over and over again with the Chikage. Like, it is so strong. This also has a double heavy as well, which is really strong for the Chikage, for sure. And its L2 attacks are okay. I never find them super useful. Maybe that's because the draw slash and then just R1 spam is already so disgusting. But the Chikage was unbelievably good. Like, I was mowing bosses with this weapon. Plus, it has rapid poison, so it is a natural boss killer, and it scales with skill in its normal version. So this is why Chikage and Evelyn go so well hand in hand, because while both do scale with blood tinge, Chikage also scales with skill. And you know, it goes very well with a gun, viscerals, which scale best with skill. A Chikage Evelyn build, if done the right way, is the strongest thing in the game. Well, I would say, yeah, you could probably get more DPS from a Chikage than you could a Ludwig Holy Blade, but it takes a lot more effort to get there. But it is a disgustingly good weapon, no doubt. Number 3, this is semi-controversial because I never see people love this weapon, is the Burial Blade. I loved the Burial Blade. Being a Great One slaying, nightmare dispelling Herald of Death was the funnest thing to me. Now, while it's untricked, it's a little lame. It's just a weirdly curved sword. You know, it's okay. It's nothing special. But when it is tricked, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's very fast for a weapon of that size, and the range of it, oh my god, the range. The charged R2 of the Burial Blade hits from a football field away. You can hit from across the room with the charged R2. I have gotten some downright goofy hits with the charged R2 of this. I cannot believe how far. Like, it is legitimately like a 10-foot range on the charged R2. It is disgusting. I cannot, like, enemies that would usually detect you if you got close enough to them to do a backstab, it doesn't matter with the Burial Blade because you can just do it anyways. Like, you can do it from 10 feet away and then just quick step over and visceral. It is so good. That's honestly what I really loved. I loved the speed of the Burial Blade. A weapon that size, that fast, and that much range. Oh, so much fun. I really loved the Burial Blade. Its transforming attacks were okay, but they were never anything too special. But I gotta be honest, man, the charged R2 is what takes it home for this. It is ridiculous, the range on that attack. It is absolutely foul. I loved it. It was what really carried it for me. And number 2, we have the Moonlight Greatsword. This was a weapon that took me a little bit to use, and I had to go through hell to use this weapon, because I did this on a New Game Plus run. But to make sure I already had the arcane, you know what I did on the New Game run before that? The Logarius Wheel. So I was going through it using that weapon. But I got to this, and dude, it was all worth it. For like, this weapon hits almost as hard as the Ludwig Holy Blade, but it is significantly faster than the Ludwig Holy Blade. Plus, it uses arcane. Very few things are resistant to arcane in Bloodborne. I believe some of the celestial enemies are, like some of the kin. I know Logarius is pretty resistant to arcane, but very, very few things are. So, you know, you use the Ludwig Holy Blade, the Moonlight Greatsword L2 attack when it's tricked, people get mowed. It is ridiculous. You can just, what's that? 800 damage? Pretty cool. And it has and on its charged R2, it shoots an arcane projectile, but it also has a double heavy, just like some of the other weapons on this list. You're noticing a pattern here. It is very, very good. The projectiles don't do a ton of damage, but you put them with the slashes, and it's super good. The L2 is really what's super good about this. Like, legit, I had put the wrong gems on this, and the weapon broke mid-boss fight, and it didn't matter, because I had Quicksilver bullets, so you know what I could do? I could just use the L2, and people are still getting mowed with a broken weapon. That should sing to how good this weapon is. This thing was broken, doing no damage, and the L2 was still mowing down enemies. Absolutely ridiculous. The Moonlight Greatsword was a ton of fun. A weapon, like, with the Burial Blade, it was a weapon that size of that speed, but didn't hit hard. With this, it's a weapon that size, that speed, that hits hard, and does arcane damage. So good. Plus in this, I got to use the Hunter tools, which is always a bonus. And my number 1 favorite weapon is the Beast Hunter Safe. This if you've heard me talk about it, I could talk about this for hours, but I love the Beast Hunter safe. When it's untricked, it's great for crowd control. Just the overhead swinging, it's slow, but it's strong. Great for crowd control. Just hits in a cone directly in front of you. So strong. Well, if you use a transforming attack, first of all, it's fast. Very strong transforming attack. But, you know what else you have to your advantage? Is the mobility of your transforming attacks. When you transform with it, you step way forward. I mean, you will lunge after that enemy. It is ridiculous how far you will go when you do that. Like, you will just zip all the way across, and then guess what? Your weapon is tricked, it takes less stamina, and it is fast. So you can just go right there. It is so good. And guess what? If you're fighting an enemy, for example, the Bloody Crow, if you're fighting the Crow, you press L1 to trick it back into the scimitar form, and you step back when you trick it, and it does really good damage. It's very fast. It doesn't lock you down for too long. So when you need to get in and really get some hits, you trick it into the Saw Cleaver form. You use the very fast attacks with that. And then when you need to back off and play defensive, let's say you need to heal or something, trick it back, step back, and get back to it. Now when it is tricked also, if you're in neutral with it, you press R1 and you lunge a little for it. It's not a big step, but it is enough to close a decent distance for sure. The Beast Hunter safe, I thought, was by far my favorite weapon in the game. Like, I love the speed, I love the versatility, I love the moveset. Everything about the Beast Hunter safe was just my favorite. I loved everything about it. It didn't have the damage of some other weapons on this list, but it made up for it in the way you could play with it. And I absolutely loved that. But, yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what 10 of your favorite weapons. I'm kind of looking around my room because I'm hearing strange noises. Let me know what 10 of your favorite weapons in Bloodborne are. I'd like to see it. Am I weird for having the Beast Hunter safe as my number 1? Because I absolutely love this weapon. But yeah, hope you enjoy the new outro music. This is courtesy of Worthless Rage. I'm going to leave their Spotify page in the description, as well as their YouTube page. I've known them for a while, and I used to use their music more, but I'm going to start doing it a bit more now. So yeah, they make really solid music. I'll make sure to use this for outros, and I'll make sure to put their stuff in the description. So if you like what you hear in the outro, make sure to go over there and see what they got, because they definitely have something else that you'll like for sure. But yeah, that'll do it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. My name is Carmen, but I go by Ellism on YouTube. Thanks for 500 subs, and I will see you in the next one. Y'all take it easy.